me all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air.
Well, hey everybody, I'm Brandon Dale as always, and this is Dual Controllers. Yep, we stayed right here, whole time. Hand to God. Even Dylan enjoyed himself.
Let me out of here!
Well, we're still continuing this mod saga, and we're going to start out with Out of Hell. That's right, starting with another zombie game. The Out of Hell mod is a single-player horror experience for the Unreal Tournament 2004 engine. You take control of the character and make your way through a decimated town overrun by bloodthirsty zombies. Powerful firearms are at your disposal, as well as brutal melee weapons, as you cut and cleave your way through 20 grimy, blood-soaked maps. Oh yeah, talk dirty to me. Okay, the next game we're going to take a look at is also for the Unreal Tournament 2004 engine, and it is Red Orchestra. Red Orchestra is an award-winning Unreal Engine mod that pits players in a scale combat in the most intense and grueling warfare in history, the Eastern Front conflict of World War II. The award-winning Red Orchestra did the World War II first-person shooter better than all other comers in 2003, outflanking Call of Duty 1 and Battlefield 1942. Designer Jeremy converted the futuristic sci-fi arena shooter Unreal Tournament 2004 into an intense, full-scale recreation of the World War II battles on Europe's Eastern Front, kickstarting the shooter trend towards gritty realism, which is now transparently dominating the market. The next game we're going to take a look at comes from the world of Grand Theft Auto, which has had no shortage of video game mods. And this one's for you roamers out there who like to roam around the map and blow people's brains out. This map lets you play as goddamn Superman. Pull your red undies over your blue tights and employ super fast running and power of flight. And if you're trying to run from the cops, invincibility, heat vision, super breath, and the ability to punch and kick enemies into f***ing orbit will allow you to evade even the helicopters. What are you still doing here? Go get it! The next game we're going to take a look at is a huge fan favorite, but did cause a bit of controversy when it moved over to PC. We're taking a look at Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. When looking at the Windows version of Rockstar North's Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, one thing sticks out. Basically, it was just a mod that adds an otherwise absent online multiplayer component. The PC version of San Andreas earned national notoriety for its infamous hack involving a hidden hot coffee minigame. But despite the scalding press coverage, hardcore fans are still creating plenty of creative and original mods. If you're tired of roaming through San Andreas, consider downloading the Jurassic Park Operation Andreas mod and take the scenic drive through Jurassic Park. If you're looking for something a little weirder, install the Here You Are mod and turn GTA into a Silent Hill-esque survival horror game. Well, it's that part of the show again, the time where we pass it over to Dylan Listener and he tells you about mods of retro games. I was really surprised by the last ones, so I am really eager to see what Dylan's going to have for us. Dylan?
Well, let's finish up this part 2 of Retro Mods with a mod for Majora's Mask. Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Nicolas Cage? This particular mod for Majora's Mask replaces the faces of every character to the actor Nicolas Cage. And when I say every face, I mean every face. Yeah, as if Majora's Mask wasn't already creepy enough. Along with the faces, various inanimate objects and varying textures will be changed to be more Nicolas-esque. Hey guys! They got the new Nicolas Cage flick going over here in Termina Theaters! Some notable mods for retro games would be the Batman and Ghostbuster Doom 2 mods. For the Batman mod, it simply turns Doom 2 into a first-person Batman game. The Ghostbusters one, simply put, allows you to play as one of the Ghostbusters in a first-person ghost-busting adventure. Ever wanted to play Mega Man in a first-person perspective? Well, Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch has you covered. However, one of the more popular mods for Doom is Aliens Total Conversion. This mod was created in 1994 by Justin Fisher and Richard Love. Like the Ghostbuster and Batman ones, this mod turns Doom into a first-person survival horror alien game. This mod gave the game new hellish textures, sound effects, and replaced various enemies from the original game to those from the Alien movies. However, various improvements were never implemented, as after 6 months, Fisher was sick of the project. However, he was offered employment for his extensive work on the mod, but declined in order to finish his university degree. Interesting fact, due to the popularity of this mod, it was later known that the creators of Doom had at one point considered doing an Alien game, but the idea fell through in early development. Well, that's all we have for retro mods this time around. Now we're going to segue to Brony Nerds and Gamers for the conclusion of the saga that is video game mods.
Usually, when people think of game mods, they think of crack developers hunched over computers, cracking lines of code like thieves and pirates, and spreading it out like a blanket of communism. Delicious communism. But what do you get when you take a game that's actually built around modding? Well, you'd get Gary's mod, which we just talked about. But you also get Amnesia, The Dark Descent, released in September 2010. Was developed by Frictional Games, the makers of the Penumbra series, where you play as Daniel, exploring a dark and foreboding castle, while avoiding monsters, solving puzzles, and generally getting the holy bejeebus scared out of you. The game has received great acclaim and consistent praise for its atmosphere and horror elements. John Walker of Rock Paper Shotgun even went as far as to say that, "I think it is safe to say that Amnesia is the most successfully frightening game to have been made. Period." In only 2 years, the game sold 1.4 million units. Of course, if that's all it was, this game would just be a great game. Probably forgotten in a year or two, no big deal. But developers decided to take things up a notch with help from their game's source code engine. Amnesia uses what's known as the HPL2 engine, an update from their older HPL engine from Penumbra. The engine contains a decent amount of source code that sets rules for commands and syntax, but the game itself is coded using very simple to edit and understand lines of commands, with such simple phrases as add item or save game. This wasn't just designed to make the game easier for developers to work with, it was part of the game's pitch to publishers. Quote, "The second and equally important usage of these tools is to make sure users can create their own content as easy as possible. The game will come with user-created content support, and a community site will be available, making it easy and swift to exchange and play each other's creations." And boy, did they. Everyone from casual gamers to experienced modders took the HPL2 engine and created hundreds of custom stories. As of now, ModDB, one of the official sources for Amnesia custom stories, has 600 entries for custom stories. That's not included custom stories that are found on many other sites. Some custom stories were small and just used the game's own codes, while others had custom items or monsters. Some games, like White Knight, actually were created with almost all originally programmed and designed content. The game and its custom stories have rocket-propelled many YouTube Let's Players like PewDiePie, Markiplier, Cinnamon Toast Ken, and Harshly Critical to huge popularity. And recently revealed, the new game Gone Home, developed in the Unity engine, actually began as an Amnesia custom story.
Whoa! Dude, that's creepy.
Mods generally come and go, but on occasion, a mod can become so popular that it launches its own franchise, then becomes its own game. And I get the pleasure of talking about 2 such games. First, let's take a look at Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike began as a mod for the original Half-Life, developed in 1999 by Min Gooseman Lee and Jess Cliff. At least the mod was better than Jess's creativity. But the game's stunning popularity inspired Valve, Half-Life's creator and all-around awesome company, to help develop Counter-Strike to its full version. Then, in the year 2000, it bought the rights. In Counter-Strike, 2 sides, terrorists and counter-terrorists, fight to kill off all the members of the opposing team. The terrorist's job is to plant a bomb at a certain point in the level, or to ideally kill off all the counter-terrorists. Rounds are usually quick, so jumping into the game requires little to no waiting for a round to begin. Doing well in the game earns players in-game money, to allow them to buy equipment, guns, or ammo. Counter-Strike has arguably been one of the top multiplayer online games ever developed, selling 25 million copies by August 2011. And GameSpy noted that Counter-Strike was the highest played Half-Life based mod in terms of number of players. The franchise's most recent game, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, takes advantage of the entire Half-Life 2 Source and Havoc engine and holds true to the formula the franchise has brought.
Yeah!
What happens when one of the most widely celebrated fantasy franchises joins forces with the modding community? You get
Epic Skyrim!
The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is the fifth installment of the role-playing game series developed by Bethesda Game Studios, released in November 2011. Its popularity amongst fantasy game buffs, including myself, is unquestioned, and the core game of Skyrim allows for hundreds of hours of gameplay, with an almost never-ending pool of things to do in the world of the Elder Scrolls. However, for some, that isn't enough, and even as far back as Elder Scrolls Morrowind, game modders work to add new texture packs or costume and items for Oblivion, the fourth game in the series. But with the release of Skyrim, Bethesda opened up the Skyrim Creation Kit to users. The Creation Kit gave a number of tools to modders to create anything from new weapons, outfits, new textures, monsters, NPCs, followers, plants, changing of rules like more horses or birds, dragon spawning, body mods, dungeons, houses, UI mods. Hell, there's even a mod that changes all the dragons to giant flying ponies! Along with the PC release of the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Steam created the vastly popular Steam Workshop that allowed players to easily download mods to the game without the need of downloading and installing folders or complicated methods of file manipulation. The Steam Workshop to date has, get this, over 18,000 mods to this date. And that's not including mods that include nudity. Not that I know anything about that. It also doesn't include the greatest of these mods,
Falskar.
Falskar, also referred to as Behind Falskar, is considered a New Lands mod. The land of Falskar has a land mass about 1/3 the size of Skyrim, and adds about 25 hours of gameplay with all original voice acting, quests, dungeons, monsters, and even an original music score. The main man behind the mod is Alexander Vilecki, who, along with 100 other contributors, worked to create the first user-made expansion to the Elder Scrolls series. I think someone wants a job at Bethesda. I suppose that's one way to put a resume together.
You'll be mine! Mine!
Well, Brandon, what do you think of all that?
It was a really good episode.
Brandon, is there a particular problem we're having here?
There's nothing wrong with you personally. There's just I just have had some bad experiences with some...
Bad experiences with what, Brandon?
You know what? No. I'm not getting sandwiched like this. The ponies, they're making me uncomfortable. I'm out. Audi 530. Peace.
He walked out of the shot.
He walked out of the shot!
I pulled up to the house about 7 or 8 and I yelled to the cabin, go home, smell you later. Looked at my kingdom, I was finally there. To sit on my throne as the Prince of Bel-Air. Never gonna give, never gonna give. Never gonna give, never gonna give. Never gonna give, never gonna give.
Thank you very much. That's all I have. So let's end this on a star wipe. What? What do you mean we don't have star wipes? Scootaloo, do something!
Never